Is Tom Olsen. The name of the show is Olsen on Law. I'd like to welcome to you attorney Michelle Berry. She's a family law attorney right here in Orlando, specializing in divorce, alimony, child support, and time sharing. Hey, Michelle, welcome to the show.
Hey there, Tom. Thanks for having me today.
Hey, you're welcome. Michelle, I got an email from a radio listener. He's an older gentleman. He's been married for 25 years. Children are all grown. Now he's thinking about getting divorced. And so the question is, what do people who've been married for 25 or 30 years, what do they need to be thinking about when they're thinking about getting divorced these days?
Well, it's more of a social consideration even than a legal one. We are taught and we expect to marry one person until death do us part. And sometimes we find out several decades later that that may not end up being the case. And while we have been married for those many decades, we've accumulated all sorts of marital assets, marital debts, retirement plans, and the numbers just get bigger and bigger. So those are things that all need to be divided up pursuant to equitable distribution. And also there needs to be a determination of whether or not alimony figures into it, because usually one spouse in longer-term marriages has perhaps given up their career to raise the family's children. And again, though, it's more of a social consideration as well. I mean, even sea turtles, for instance, are monogamous. And we would like to think that we are also monogamous. And as sea turtles live a long time, so do we. And we would hope that our relationships last that long. Unfortunately, that is often not the case. And with regard to the legal aspects, there are so many things that have been built up over the course of a marriage that need to be basically disentangled. And from the social side, I always recommend counseling just so that my clients can get his or her mind around the idea that this is going to be a totally new lifestyle post-dissolution, because we're talking about people who have been together 25, 35 years, and they're making a drastic change.
Hey, Michelle, I want to remind the listeners that the new tax bill last year, traditionally alimony would have been a tax deduction for the person who's paying it. Let's assume the husband's paying it. And starting in, I think, January 1 of next year, alimony is no longer a tax deduction for the person paying. And plus the alimony that let's say the wife receives is going to be taxable income. So it's going to be a double whammy starting, I think, next January 1.
That's going to be an interesting consideration, because up till now that has been one of the selling points, so to speak, for the person who's ending up paying alimony, is that at least they're not being taxed on income that is then going to be handed to the other spouse. So that may be something that ends up going for consideration B in front of the Florida Bar and in front of the Florida Supremes, just to see if we can't readdress that, because to a lot of family attorneys, what we're finding is that seems to be a bit of overreaching on the part of the federal government, stepping into the state's issues with regard to how we in Florida determine alimony, because it's usually based, of course, on one spouse's need, the other spouse's ability to pay it, and once that other spouse who's paying it has paid it, then they shouldn't be taxed on monies that they never see. So that's probably going to come up for consideration in the years to come. However, right now it does appear that both sides would end up paying income tax on the same money.
Yeah, so if you're thinking about getting divorced and you're thinking that you may have to pay alimony, boy, you want to get that done by the end of 2018.
That would probably be a very good suggestion. If you're looking to get divorced and it's been a long-term marriage, then the time to do it would be now.
Hey, Michelle, tell the listeners how they can reach you.
You can contact me at my phone number 407-622-4529, but the best way to reach me is at mbarrylaw.com. That is my website, and my email address is michelle@mbarrylaw.com.
Thank you, Michelle. We appreciate it. That is attorney Michelle Berry. She's a family law divorce attorney right here in Orlando. If you want to reach her at her office next week, you can call 407-622-4529, and her website is mbarrylaw.com. Hey, folks, my name is Tom Olsen. The name of the show is Olsen on Law, every Saturday at 11 a.m. right here on News 96.5. I remind you that next Wednesday...